Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Pardon My Sanity. I'm your host, Tevin, here with my lovely co-hosts. We all together again.
Hey.
Seemed like it been a little minute because somebody wanted to be on vacation, but that's all right.
Hope you enjoyed.
That's all right. We got
I
Shells
did.
and Megan G in the house. How y'all doing? First of all, how y'all mental health? Y'all good?
Yes, today.
We good?
Today is good. Yes, today
Hey,
is
man,
good.
you good, man?
Yeah,
You just nodding. You ain't saying nothing.
because I had to, it's been a day, and the day just started.
Right. It's only noon.
I know.
It's only noon 30.
It's 5:00 somewhere.
Noon,
Yeah.
noon 30. Okay.
Yeah.
Noon
Yeah.
30.
30.
Yeah, noon 30.
So,
is crazy.
I'm excited to talk about this because one, it's not about relationships. So I'm excited about that, to be honest.
Yes.
Yay.
We are going to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about, I ain't going to say who's failing our youth, but we're going to just talk about the state of the youth.
Yes.
And are we failing them?
Right.
From an economic standpoint, a parental standpoint, and just overall like society norms today. So first I want to get into parenting styles. And actually, Chiz, I want you to lead this because you brought up something that made me look into it just before we went live. So there are different kind of parental styles.
Yes, there are four.
And there are four of them.
Yeah, there
Can
are
you
four.
break them down for me?
There are four parenting styles. It's authoritative, authoritarian, permissive, and neglectful.
Right.
Authoritative is pretty much when you're firm, but you're also explaining to your children why you're being firm with them. It's not
Right.
just, oh, do this because I said so. Authoritarian, that's where it's like, yeah, do this because
Right,
I
it's a
said so.
dictatorship.
You're more
Yeah.
strict. You're not trusting your children, overprotective, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Permissive, it's those parents that want to be their child friend, just kind of
Oh, that's what we have.
you
a
know,
lot
just
today.
kind of let them do whatever, you know, like just making sure make sure they're good, but you're not giving them structure.
Yeah.
So just allowing them to do whatever.
Yeah,
And then
see.
neglectful is neglectful, making sure they got food, shelter, and water, and that's pretty much it. No emotional
If you're breathing, I'm
support,
good. I'm gonna do my thing.
You know,
Not
exactly.
Yeah.
if you
So,
breathing. If you breathing.
So
it's not
let's talk about this. So, Megan, we start with you. What was the parental style in your home growing up first, compared to how you parent? Because you do have kids.
So, my mom was authoritative. She. Well, no, let me take that back. Which one is the one where you give no reasoning behind it? You just do.
authoritarian.
Okay, so yeah, she was an authoritarian. My mom didn't. She would be the parent where it was like, don't touch the stove
Right.
because I said so.
Right. Not because it's hot.
Correct.
Explaining. Yeah.
So, me being me, I kind of got this sense of I want to do it just because I feel like you trying me. Like I want to do it now because you didn't tell me why I couldn't
Right.
touch the stove. So, my mama was very strict.
Yeah.
Very, very strict. So I grew up in a strict household. So that's why when I hit 18, you know what I'm saying, I wildin'.
Yeah. That's right. So wild is an
I
understatement.
So the parenting style is crazy though, because she was growing up in an authoritarian, or was it authoritative? Which one was it?
Authoritarian is where it's strict.
Okay, so my mom's parenting style was authoritarian.
Yeah.
My parenting style is authoritative.
Yeah. I'll say the same for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Noah, you know what I'm saying, do something wrong, then I'm going to give you the reason why it's wrong and
Right.
what we can do next time to prevent it from going that way that it went.
Right.
So I try to give my kids, you know what I'm saying, the benefit of the doubt.
Right. So
'Cause-
we're gonna go around first, but I want you to tell about Noah because you said you had something to share about
I
Noah.
did.
Okay.
I do.
So, Chels, what about you? What was the kind of parental style you grew up on?
Authoritarian.
Yeah, same.
My mom, you know, like I said, I mentioned before in other video, I'm Haitian, so
Yeah.
old school Haitian.
Yeah.
women,
Oh.
You know, very strict.
Yeah.
with stuff.
Fierce.
Spare the rod, spoil the child.
You know, so it was always just do this because I said so, do this
Right.
because I said so. It's just no real explanation on things.
Yeah.
I couldn't really go out with friends that often.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't really date.
Yeah.
So
You were sheltered.
very much so.
Yeah. So
Very sheltered.
before we get to Noah, 'cause I definitely want to hear about Noah because I grew up in the same kind of thing. So let's talk about what did that do for you mentally as far as like being sheltered, not having things really thoroughly explained to you of like why you can't do this. So we're gonna start with you first. Well, no, let me start this off. Then we'll go around. So for me, I got my butt whooped.
Okay.
I wasn't a bad child. I just had a little temper on me,
Okay.
and I like to talk,
Oh, Lord.
because I felt like I didn't come from a household where I could talk without negative repercussions. So when I got a chance
Same.
to voice something, especially in school, I did it because it's like I can't do it at home. Let me see what it feels like.
Right.
I think with me it was like a lot of curiosity of like, what's the why behind all this? But at the same time, it was like their way of guiding you from potential dangers. But at the same time, like when I got older, I just started dabbing in dangers myself because I didn't know the why. So let me find out the why to myself, especially since like I'm becoming an adult now. So I want to have my own understanding of things. So I appreciate being sheltered because it definitely protected me from a lot back in the day.
I don't.
Yes. Okay.
Ooh,
Now that I
we gonna
am
get to that.
now that I am older.
Yeah.
Yes. Certain things. As a woman, yes.
Yeah.
My mom being strict definitely probably protected me from a lot of things that other girls probably experience that probably shielded me from, like, maybe going to the wrong party or hanging out with the wrong people, that type of
Yeah.
thing. So me being a little sheltered, that saved me a little bit.
Yeah.
But on the other side of it, it messes with your social skills.
Oh yes.
Like
Especially boundary wise.
boundaries,
Yeah.
and then it was hard for me to like build and maintain friendships, and because I wasn't like I didn't know how to interact outside of school. Like I only went to school and came home for real. Like I didn't get to go out with friends, go to the park, go to parties. People always had birthday parties.
Yeah,
all
little
the time.
kickbacks and stuff like that.
I couldn't go to those.
Yeah.
So it was just like I never got those moments to really socialize with my peers outside of a school setting.
Yeah.
So I think that affected me when I got to college and as I got older and trying to make friends with people and trusting too, because my mom was always like, "Don't trust nobody,
Yeah.
stay in the house," and
Yeah.
that does mess with your psyche a little bit when you
Yeah.
get older. Like, yeah, so I'm always skeptical of people. Trying to be better about that now, but yeah, it messes with you being sheltered like that.
Yeah.
It does. So.
Oh, it really do. Like for me, I'm gonna let you go, Meg. For me, my whole thing was like with women, right? So my whole thing, like I grew up in Riverdale.
Okay.
Most of my childhood.
Southside.
Yeah, yes. So I think we all kind of share this, like, hey, stay where I can see you. Even in apartments.
Correct.
You stay in this section of the apartment so I can see you.
Correct.
So that carried that mentality of like obeying that carried to like my young adulthood. Like I didn't even like being too far from the house when I even went to go see a woman. Like you got to be local because I'm not gonna be 60 miles out just in case something pop off. And I gotta tell my dad like, yeah, you gotta come get me. Where you at? I'm in Macon. What you doing in Macon?
Yeah.
You know, why you not in Union City or something?
That part.
Yeah, so it really like tweaked my mind to think a certain way coming into adulthood. As for like how I carry myself, what I allow myself to do, even though I got the choice now.
Right.
It's still think about like what would dad say if I like told him I was doing this or dabbling in this, or what would my mom say or
Yes,
whatever.
you hear your parents in the back of your mind still when you're trying to make decisions. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, man, your turn. What's up with it?
I didn't like the fact that I was sheltered.
Why?
No, that's real.
Because even though my mama had that parenting style,
Yeah.
I still did what I wanted to do.
Right.
And I was glad that I did what I wanted to do because it showed me society. It showed me the real world. So now, as I got older, nothing puts fear in my heart besides God. That's it.
Yeah.
So growing up in that sheltered, you know what I'm saying, combine or, sheltered gathering,
Yeah.
I always went against the grain. But it made me a stronger individual.
Yeah.
It strengthened my mental. So for me, you know what I'm saying, it was cool being sheltered, but I went against the grain every single time. And a lot of the situations that I ended up in, a lot of people will look at them as mistakes. I look at them as blessings.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
It's about the lesson you learn.
boom.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so if I, you know what I'm saying, that's why I said growing up being sheltered, I hated it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I always went against the grain.
To piggyback off that, I agree. Now with me, I appreciate it, but I didn't like it either.
Right. Yeah.
But the thing is, to your point, you going through your own struggles and going against the grain, you learn how to bounce back from it.
Correct.
It's a lot of people who's overly sheltered and
Yes.
don't know how to handle the pressures
Absolutely
of
not.
just being an adult.
Oh, yeah.
Having
Yeah,
a
because how
job.
many adults do you know nowadays? You call your mama to help you set up a doctor's appointment. You grown.
Yeah.
No, you still like you grown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like I said, growing up sheltered, I hated it because it was like, okay, I'm gonna go against the grain every time. So that way, when I do get to that adulthood stage, I already know what to do.
Right.
I already done seen it firsthand. So, or done experienced it. So, that's why I'm the opposite of y'all. Like, my social skills are on point.
Yeah.
I can go out and have a conversation with a complete stranger, and you know what I'm saying. I didn't have that stranger danger.
Yeah.
Because I was always that little kid that you would buy me a ice cream, pack of gum, and we just be standing at the corner store. I don't know you from a can of
My mama,
paint.
absolutely not.
Yeah,
See,
nah.
I always
couldn't
went
even
against
walk
the
to the corner
grain.
store unless I was
went
getting something for her,
against the
and you
grain.
better come
didn't
right
know
back.
I was at the corner store, but I still went. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? I knew I had to grow up someday.
Right.
And
But also another thing too with having strict parents and being strict parenting,
Yeah.
it breeds sneaky children because now you're trying to hide what you're doing, trying to hide yourself. You sneaking around because your parents not
So
allowed
y'all-
to do anything.
Oh, that was me.
But me, my mama still kind of scared me a little bit. But I didn't really start, I guess, bucking until I got like,
Bucking.
bucking the system.
I've heard that
start
term.
bucking. Yeah, right. I ain't started bucking till like maybe 14, 15 when I got to high school. Because,
Yeah.
okay, I'm in high school now. Like, God, why can't I just go places? Like, I don't understand. Like, I get
Yeah.
it, but because when I first started high school, I was in Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you way out there?
Total different ball game from being in the South, okay?
Yeah.
So I get why she was a little bit more strict when we got up there.
Right.
Because, yeah, it was kind of a wild ride living up there. Like, I had to walk everywhere. So she was a little bit more cautious about letting me go places.
Yeah.
So just like, I'm a teenager. Like, I want to go places. I want to be
Yeah.
able to go do things. But, yeah, we don't talk about enough how it breeds sneakiness in children and the lying and that type
Oh,
of
yeah.
thing.
Yeah, 'cause that was definitely me.
That's the negative.
That was me
side to it.
right after
You
high
know,
school.
it's bad. It's bad.
It is. It is. It really affected, like I said, it really affected like how I went about things.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like doing things, like I knew they wouldn't approve, but I'm 18 now, so I don't even give a F.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do this anyway because I've been waiting for so long to like do this or
and
whatever.
see,
Wait.
for me, so then let me ask y'all this question: do y'all feel like y'all environment played a part in it too? Where y'all was at? Where you were
Oh yeah,
raised
definitely
at?
me. Yeah.
Okay.
The thing is,
so-
my mom, that's the crazy part though. My mom made sure that we were not in no ghetto situation, nothing like that. We never lived in the projects. We always lived in a nice house.
Yeah.
In a sustainable neighborhood. Like I grew up in Lithonia, but I was on a nice part of Lithonia, like off Panola Road. Like,
Girl, they're nice.
I mean, but it wasn't like,
wasn't like how it
it
is
ain't like
now.
Decatur.
It ain't like how it is now,
You
but
said the
Panola
country.
Road is bad. But Panola Road
But
is
at the
bad.
time that we lived there, it
It
wasn't really
wasn't.
bad. It was
Yeah.
neighborhoods, homes, family life. That's why I didn't really understand like why she was so strict
Yeah.
all the time. But as a
But
parent,
see, y'all parents' strictness made y'all sneaky.
Right.
Me, I was the opposite.
Right.
I tried my mama every chance I got. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was that.
And what did that
child
get you?
that was I'm going to try you every chance because I knew the outcome.
Right.
You either gonna beat me with a switch that I picked out that tree, or you gonna hit me with an extension cord. I knew I was gonna get a whooping,
Right.
but I was like, you know what I'm saying? I was that child growing up that wanted to test the waters
Yeah.
because I knew once I got older, okay, I already know. I know what pain feels like.
Right.
So that's why I'm like how I am today. Nothing really gets me.
Right.
Like, so I wasn't sneaky. I just did it in her face. Like, it is what it is.
It is right here.
It's bold, very bold. I was that very bold child. They like, okay,
Right.
well, you give me an inch, I'm gonna go ahead and take this mile and I'm gonna put it in your face, and the consequences
Right.
are what they are.
See, it took me one time to like take a mile, And after the beating I got, because we get
Like,
beats
oh,
back
no.
in the day. I'm like, I'm good on
Yeah.
that. I'm good at taking my
The beatings made me tough. They made me tougher.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, bet. You know, I said I could swing. You know, we can go back and forth. Like we was in there fighting.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
mean,
Me and my mom was fighting.
my mom did the whippings, but I wasn't really like a bad child. So
Yeah.
I didn't really get whooped that much. So
I did. It was a religion for me. Like every Friday. Every Friday. Every Friday, man.
Free whooping Friday.
Yes. It would be. Look, I'm gonna tell you what a typical Friday, especially elementary, like 4th, 5th grade, 4th, 5th, 6th grade.
So you
a
would
typical
bucket
Friday
early.
for me was show. You remember progress reports?
Oh, yeah,
was like a
yeah,
weekly
yeah.
thing or whatever. Progress report. I already know what I'm getting, right? So it'll be go getting wings, going to Blockbuster. Now this is my mom picking us up from school. Going to Blockbuster, picking up movies, whatever. We come home. Dad get home. The progress report is on the table already. Son, go to your room. I already know. That was a religion for me.
Yeah.
Every Friday for a good 3-year span. And I wasn't even like a bad kid. I was barely like making good grades, but I just talk a lot. I didn't.
Yeah.
My thing was what they called it back then, excessive talking.
Yeah.
Your
That was my
mouth,
thing.
your
And I
mouth
got my
you
butt
in
whooped
trouble.
for talking
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, your
So
mouth
think
got you in
about what
trouble.
that did to my psyche as far as like just communicating anyway.
Right.
It really like
It stifles you.
hindered me.
Yeah.
It was like a suppression of like really wanted to thoroughly communicate like feelings and stuff like that. Like, yeah, this bothers me. Don't do that.
Yeah, because
it was hard for me to do that as I came into my adulthood
Yeah,
because of that. You know what I
I'm still
mean?
having that issue too a little bit.
Yeah.
Really fully expressing myself because I'm also the youngest, so I
Yeah.
don't really care what you got to say. When you
Yeah.
Yeah,
in a
I
strict
was the
household.
youngest. I was the youngest.
Ain't nobody finna listen to you, so
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, yeah, you kind of go through life like, dang, I guess my feelings really don't matter, so I'm gonna just keep it to myself. Or
No.
it's hard to like really say how I feel without feeling like, it just don't even matter. But yeah,
That
I
part,
get it.
man. That part.
I get that.
Lord.
Look at I had to go through none of that. They said,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna say
know.
what I mean and mean what I say, and when I say what I say, you gonna feel it.
Right.
And I'm gonna make sure you feel it.
right.
So I do the
So
same.
that's how you was with your mama? That's
Yeah, I was and was. Shout out to my mama. I love you, Mama Pam. But she know what's up. She knew what was up. Like my
Yeah.
mama be, I told you not to do this, X, Y, and Z. Well, I did it because such and such and such and such. Okay, cool.
Now you
I knew
gotta
I was
squabble.
probably gonna get something. Yeah,
Right.
right. And that's what it was. Just
Right.
like you had your Fridays where you get whooped all
Right,
the time.
right.
I knew that I knew once I did what I did, it wasn't no taking it back.
Right.
So I wasn't trying to hide it, cover it up. Like I said, everything that was done was in her face because I had already seen my other 3 siblings, you know what I'm saying, go out, you know what I'm saying, do this that, and the third. But the difference was my grades was always on point.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was a smart cookie. I was I love one of my biggest hobbies is I love to read. So it was
Yeah.
just like knowledge to me is power.
Yeah.
So the more knowledge I had, the more powerful I felt like I was. So I was
Right.
that little kid on the block, like, yeah, I'm Matilda, but you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so let's switch gears. Let's get into Noah. So you want to tell us about Noah? Noah's your son, right?
Yes, that's my
So,
youngest.
Your youngest. Okay.
So
So talk to us about Noah.
my parenting style was tested last week. So Noah decided that he was gonna go out the house and not tell nobody. So this happened last Thursday.
Right.
So
Hold on. Before you go on, how old is he? Since
He's
he's
8.
8.
He's 8.
8.
8
Okay.
years old. So
Okay.
he doesn't have a phone.
Right.
His 2 older siblings do.
Right.
So his sister texted me and was like, "Hey," because I was still at work. We had got a late call. So the only people that were in the house was his older brother, who's 14, Caden, and then his sister was there. But Malia texted me and was like, "Hey," his sister's 12. She was like, "Hey, I'm going to my best friend's house, which she lives right around the block."
Right.
So Noah decided to take it upon himself
to just leave.
to leave.
Mm.
Didn't tell nobody where he was going. So Malia got back. Malia left the house at around 7. She got back at around about 7:45.
Right.
It's at night. I get that text. I'm at work. Noah's missing. What you mean he missing? I've never drove so fast on 20, and I passed by 2 GSP. And I was like, I don't care if y'all pull me over at this point, my child been missing. So Noah had been missing for 2 hours.
That's a long time.
Parenting
Yeah.
kicked in
Yeah.
ASAP. I flew so fast. I left my car at my job and busted out license sirens in the ambulance. pulled up to my house, Noah was nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, the neighborhood that we live in Douglasville, nobody comes outside. Like, there are a whole bunch of kids on the block. Everybody over there has Ring cameras. We checked the Ring cameras. Nobody. So it had got to the point where I had to call 911.
Right.
And when I tell you SWAT, they showed up within 5 seconds flat. I'm over here she asking me to describe my child. And in the moments like that, it was, baby, I couldn't tell you. I just know he weigh a sack of sugar. Because you asking me how much he weigh. You asking me how tall he is. Okay, he comes up to here. Like, she was asking me so many things, so many questions.
Yeah.
And I don't watch too many shows to know that in the first 24 hours is crucial, especially for a missing child.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Nobody has seen Noah. So I was on the phone with my boyfriend at the time. So, but I mean, we're still dating, but he was on the phone.
Right.
He jumped in his car, met me at the house in the ambulance, because I was in the ambulance. They was like, somebody call 911? Like, SWAT cars, they had the dogs out. So we didn't find Noah. Noah went missing when Malia got back, so 7:45.
Right.
We didn't find Noah until 10 o'clock.
My goodness.
And
my God.
as a parent, that is the worst. That is the worst feeling in the world. I'm over here.
Friend house or something?
He he was trying to find his sister. And I'm like,
Okay.
Noah. And the crazy part about it is my boyfriend found him.
Yeah.
He was not going. We were out there searching. They tore my house up. They were asking me to look in places that I know my child can't fit in. Like, the dispatcher was like, "You just
Look in the microwave.
Look in the microwave. Look in the refrigerator." I'm like, why would my son be in the refrigerator? Look at the bottom of the trash can. That was
What?
like, yes. Like, she was like, well, he's 8. Like, kids, you know what I'm saying? He might be in the
No.
house. He might be playing hide and seek.
Right.
And I said no.
No.
And what really concerned me was
These ain't these
Noah
kind of
has
kids.
seizures. So I was like, my
Yeah.
child is somewhere. He could be seizing right now. Like, I can't get to him. This and that and the third. So this whole time, Noah's bus stop sits at the end of the street. Noah was at the house next to where the bus stop was.
Right.
They didn't know Noah was missing because nobody in that house came outside. But the little girl that rides the bus with Noah. They're actually in the same homeroom class.
Yeah.
So they didn't know we were outside looking for Noah. Like, when I tell you the whole block came out, like, it was a village and a community because, baby, my child is missing. Like,
Well, that's beautiful.
baby, we finna wait. We
A lot of
finna
people
kick
don't care.
Noah's in, baby,
That's
because
your child.
at first I was
My
thinking,
child
like,
in the house.
mine
With me.
safe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, mine safe. And
Yeah.
that's the mindset that I thought they were going to have. So my parenting style was tested because, and the reason I say that is because once we did find him, because I wasn't there when they actually found him. When they knocked on that door and he came to the door of that house, my boyfriend was the one that threw him on his shoulders and was carrying him back to the house. He FaceTimed me, and once I saw Noah's face, oh my God.
Yeah.
When I say, like, just heart just was relieved.
Yeah.
But when I say my parenting style was tested, because let me would have did that with my mama. I would have got the ultimate whooping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The ultimate whooping.
You wouldn't be able to walk for the rest of the week.
Correct. But what do you think I did when Noah ran up and hugged me and he was crying?
You cried?
I cried and I consoled him.
Yeah.
He thought he was finna get the beating of a lifetime.
Yeah.
No, because what am I beating you for? You made a mistake. I did it when
Right.
I was young, and
Right.
my mama beat me, and I still had times that I wanted to run away. So that whooping didn't show me anything.
True.
Right.
Makes sense.
So it was just like, I'm not gonna treat my kids the same. We're gonna talk about it.
Yes.
So I try to teeter-totter in between being that authoritative figure, but also, you know what I'm saying, letting my kids know, hey, you can come to me. This is a safe space
Right.
as your mom. So, especially now that I have 2 teenagers.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But yeah,
You had to go through that. That's wild.
man,
That is, man. Bless
that's
the heart.
the
You never
worst.
know. You never
The
know what
worst
people be
feeling
going
as a
through.
parent.
You just never know, man.
Yeah, because, I mean, times are changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's important for me because I have 2 kids,
mm-hmm.
and it's important to give them that safe space because
Correct.
I know what it looks like to not have that safe space
correct.
to talk, And even yesterday, I had my son. I asked him about his mental health. Like, when the last time you asked your kid, not like you, but like for the parents out there, like, when the last time you asked your kid or kids about their mental health?
Right.
Like, is that important to you?
Right.
just because they are alive, they're comfortable in your house, they're fed, they have clothes on their back, roof over their heads and stuff like that. They go to school and all this other stuff. It doesn't mean they
Not
good.
stuff. Yeah, right.
You know, because
Correct.
I remember one time, I think I said this on our first episode, Meg. I think so.
Mm-hmm.
About I remember I asked my kids, like, how y'all mental health doing or whatever, and they both like, it's not good or whatever. And my first instinct was like, what y'all mean it's not good? Y'all don't got to do nothing except go to school
Right.
and be
You got no
fed.
responsibility. You got to.
Yeah, right. And I had to catch myself before I finished that sentence because it's like, no, they do go through things.
Right.
Like school is tough for them.
Right.
You know, like my daughter hate tests. Just like
I hated
me.
tests.
I hated
Ooh,
tests.
I have test anxiety.
My son was just like, man, his peers just getting on his nerves.
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
it's like that. You see the same people every day.
Yeah.
And then it's so many different personalities, and it's budding personalities. Too,
Yeah.
because your kids are preteens, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, my son 13, my daughter turned 12 in October.
yeah, so it's like being around all them different emotions, the hormones,
Yes.
raging. Yeah, that can get stressful sometimes. I remember for me, being in middle school was like, ugh, this is annoying.
Yeah, yeah. So like I said, in regards to that, it's important, and I think us newer parents, new school parents, we.
Go, baby.
I think
It's
we
a lot.
owe it to our kids to, one, be their ultimate protector,
Correct.
and two, also provide that safe space. It got to come from the household first.
Right.
Correct.
Because if they seeking that out somewhere else, then that means that gives them kind of like a leeway to be sneaky
Yeah. Well,
in a way.
I would say it starts in the household
Yeah.
too, but then also the extended village because
Yeah.
I don't have any kids, but I am an auntie and I'm a godmother.
Right.
So I also try to extend to my nephew as well. Like, hey,
Right.
come to auntie and tell me things too. Like, if you don't want to tell your mama or you just don't feel comfortable, like, auntie always got you.
Right.
Or also my guy, because they still young right now, but still when they get older, like, Gigi got you. Like,
Right.
you come to Gigi too if you don't want to go to your mama. Like, I got you. So
Right, right,
I
right.
try to extend the same thing as a villager, I guess, or part of the community. Like, hey,
Right.
if you don't feel comfortable telling your parents something, you come to me.
So
Yeah.
then let me ask you this question, because you don't have kids. So when not having kids and you say you're auntie, do you find yourself stepping on the toes of the kids that you...
Before you we're gonna get into that. That's gonna be later. I want to touch on this before we segue to our next thing, because I definitely want to get into the schools
Okay.
and teachers.
Mm.
So I just want to ask this one question.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between how we was growing up compared to how our kids is growing up now? Like, what these age of kids growing up? What is the major difference or differences y'all see?
There's no respect.
Yeah.
Because I remember for us, you had to respect your teachers. Like,
Oh, yeah.
there was no if, ands, buts about it. Like, why are you sitting here cursing and yelling at the teacher, like doing all this extra stuff, like how I see all the time on social media with these kids fighting the teacher?
Yeah. I think it was at
I'm
MLK, I
like-
think.
And it
Yeah.
was just so crazy.
Like,
because
jumped
I'm
him.
like,
Man.
I remember that happening when I was in school, but that was so rare, and it was always
Yeah.
like the really troubled person
Yeah,
that
like
everybody
you-
knew was kind of troubled.
Right. Like, it wasn't a surprise he or she did
But it's
that.
happening
Yeah.
way more often. It's like there just seems to be no respect, and
Yeah.
I don't know if it is the teachers, because it is more millennial teachers now. Than
Yeah.
that. I don't know if it's the teachers that feel like, hey, they have to try so hard to get the respect, or if it's at home parenting that like it's our parents telling their kids,
Yeah.
you gotta listen to the teacher, just call me if there's a problem going on or whatever. Like, I don't know if that's not happening, because our parents always, my mom always told me, like, respect the teacher, don't talk back, all of that, do your work, sit down, like,
Yeah.
just be. But
teacher
kids
is the adult.
nowadays, I don't know what's going on. So I
Right.
don't know if it's the actual teachers trying to fight for the respect, or if it's the parents telling these kids, hey, you don't have to respect these teachers. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I feel like it starts at home.
Yeah.
It goes back to what we were talking about. It starts at home.
Right.
Because, I mean, when we were growing up, like you said, we respected the teachers. And then not only that, I'm pretty sure your first grade teacher was cool with your mama. They went to the same hair salon, got their hair done together. You know what I'm saying? So they chopping it up.
Yeah, being in the
talking.
community, yeah.
Yeah, they in the community. So it
Yeah.
was just like, back then, it was a village of us. We had each
Right.
other.
Yeah.
So
Right.
now it's just like, with this gentle parenting and this whole, you know what I'm saying? Because you have some teachers out here that's going to butt back.
Right.
Exactly.
They going to butt back, and you know what I'm saying? And I feel like with the gentle parenting, with nowadays, as far as the schools go, you have a lot of parents that are trying to be their child friend.
Right.
Right.
Baby, I'm not one of your little friends. That's what
Right.
we were told when we were
I
growing
think-
up.
Yeah,
Right,
So-
right.
That is one of the major differences I see. A lot of
Yeah.
parents are trying to be their kids'
Equal.
friends early.
Yeah.
Early.
Like 2, 3.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, this is coming from I used to sub preschool,
Right.
so I'm around kids who's 4 and 5,
Correct.
and I see them parents come in, and it's straight like on some buddy stuff. Like they trying to be their big brother or big sister or something like that. I'm like, nah, you need to be mother.
Not
father.
even dad.
Structure.
Not
Yeah.
They don't have no structure, but not even that. Like a lot of kids nowadays, they'll do stuff, and the parents will think it's cute.
Yeah.
Boy, what? No,
Yeah.
your 14, babe. I wish mine would.
The disrespecting the teachers. Like
That
Yeah,
part,
they thought
like
that was
even
cute.
on like on a smaller scale, but it's still like dang, you allow this?
Right.
Like one thing that gets me is like when I see like a boy call his dad bruh.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've seen that a lot, and from younger, like these ain't teens doing it. These are like 8, 9, 7-year-olds and stuff like that, So one thing to add to that, the biggest difference I see is like kids don't fear nothing.
No.
Boy,
It's the
They not
fearlessness for
scared.
me.
No, they're not
And I understand being fearless kind of has good qualities, but at the same time, it really has no boundary.
Right.
And that's
Correct.
the thing.
Right.
It has no boundary in respect. It has no boundary in protecting yourself or
Right.
just awareness of situations. Because you're just so fearless, you think like however it's gonna go, it's gonna go. Like that's not always cute to think like that in every situation you're in.
correct.
Because your way of thinking is putting you more in danger than protecting you.
Right.
And the fact that these kids is just so willingly, just so don't care about like their lives. That saddens me actually.
It does.
Like a lot of kids don't really care about their own life. And you even told me, just outside,
Yeah.
24-year-old.
24-year-old.
He
24-year-old psych patient. He wanted to kill himself. He
Yeah.
been wanting to kill himself for years. And
24.
at 24. That's why I'm like, dang, I'm 34. So I'm 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
And it's just like it shows that they didn't have no guidance.
No.
Yeah.
And even when, like, I feel like nowadays we don't have the teachers that we had back in our time.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have that old school G-ma, that auntie, you know what I'm saying, that they see you, you know what I'm saying, you ain't got no lunch at school today,
they
so
give
they
you
bring
lunch,
you,
yeah.
they bring you a little snack and stuff like that. You ain't got them type of teachers no more. Like,
Yeah.
the teachers that you got nowadays, your child and the teacher are literally 3-4 years apart.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. Too.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's more millennial
it's more,
that are
it's
teachers,
society.
and it's just
Oh,
I don't know.
to both of your point, yeah, that's a problem too, because even outside of the schools, even like in behavioral health facilities, it's the same route. It's the same route. I've been in 3 separate ones. The meat or the core of your employees just in their late 20s.
Right.
And the oldest we have be 18, 17.
Right. So it's kind of like how much
Y'all be treating them like little sisters
Exactly.
and little
And
brothers.
it's like, no.
Twin, what's up, twin?
Yeah,
So,
like,
no, I get it.
nah,
I
I'm
get-
professional, bro.
The problem
Don't call me. I ain't
is-
calling nobody twin. Don't
I
call
ain't
me
finna
twin.
call
the
nobody
problem is, I
twin.
think since back in our generation when we were growing up, like older adults weren't really trying to relate with us too much. So
Yeah.
there was kind of a little bit of a disconnect, but it was still just like there's still a respect level. It's
Yeah,
like, I
yeah,
still
yeah.
respect you as the OG.
Yeah.
You got wisdom to give me, that type of thing. Now I feel like with the millennials, everybody's trying to be each other's equal. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna call you twin and bro, all
It
this
ain't
other stuff
even
to
that.
relate. But it's just like,
It ain't
no, they
even-
still need the structure.
It
Yeah.
ain't even that. These kids nowadays, they think they know it all.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm gonna let you think that you know it all, and then when you get in a jam, who you coming to?
Right.
Okay,
An adult.
an adult.
right.
An adult.
Right.
I've been there, done that. I tell my kids that all the time.
Right.
Been there, done that. Like you go ahead, go that route that you finna go, and I'm I'm already telling you how it's gonna end up.
Yeah.
And so my kids, I ain't gonna lie, they look. My parenting style, there are times where, you know what I'm saying, I hang out with especially my oldest two.
Yeah.
Cause Caden 14, he be 15 this year. So I only got 2 more years with him. Cause he finna be a sophomore this year. So I only got 2 more years with him. And then next thing you know, you off into the real world. I will never prepare my kids for this world that we're living in now and not give them the wisdom, the footsteps, the guidance to, you know what I'm saying, know what you finna get yourself into.
Yeah.
The first time this man ever called me twin, I'ma knock his head between the washer and dryer. Don't ever try me. And my kids know that.
Yeah.
They know that. Like, you know, I tell them almost every other day, I ain't one of your little friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Stop. They know they mama
Yeah.
walk and crash out.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
That part. I understand that. And Chels, to what you were saying, like that's very true as far as like the boundaries and the structure. Because mind you, I was a sub in pre-K classes, 4 or 5-year-olds. In our day, and I hate saying it, but it's true though. Like when it's playtime, we don't care about no adults until you tell us it's time to go back into class.
Correct.
These little kids want to chop it up with you during playtime. Like, why you don't want to go slide or swing? Why you want to talk to me?
Oh yeah,
They want to be grown.
Yes.
They
They
I
wanna
remember
be
I had a girl.
grown.
I remember I had a girl. She 4 years old.
Tea.
This girl
be
told me
grown.
yeah, we just got evicted. First of all, how you know that word?
That's
And why
another
you
thing,
telling me that?
There's
Evicted
too
is
many-
diabolical.
I'ma pray for you.
Yeah, there's a lot of adult conversation that happens around these kids, so they
Yeah.
feel like they're able to.
Yeah,
have
and
a
they
voice,
and they could
it's
just chop
like,
it up with
nah,
somebody.
you need to stay in a child's place.
Right.
I hate to say that, but it's kind of like like our parents did
Please
shelter
play.
us from like certain conversations that
Yeah.
we don't
Oh,
need to
baby,
be,
my
you don't
mama
need to be a
tell
part
me
of.
quick.
Yeah.
Get out my mouth. Get out my mouth.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, it's-
Don't even be too close during this
Yeah,
conversation.
Exactly.
I don't
Go to
need you in the
room.
proximity
That's
of
the
nothing.
thing,
like-
but no,
Yeah.
people are having the conversations.
I feel like because back in our time, we wanted to be kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
we
saw an
wanted to have
ice
fun.
cream truck, a heart smile.
Yeah.
Now they see ice cream truck, bro. Who?
it's like okay,
Right.
Do you want to shoot it up
Yeah.
or you want to rob it? Like it's
Right.
different. Like the mentality
yeah.
is different.
Yeah, and I think
they also there's no kid things anymore. We had a lot of stuff geared just for us kids.
Yeah.
They
Right.
don't have nothing. They don't have anything.
I'll say this. I'll say that. I'm respectfully rebuttal that because it's still kids things to do.
They
I
just don't
think
wanna
that
do
acts-
'em.
that
don't
one,
wanna do 'em.
and then it's just like it's substituted with electronics now.
Yeah.
Like how much
iPads,
that advanced.
phones, yeah.
Because if it wasn't a game, I didn't have no phone I could just be on all day.
You're right.
I'd
You're
go
right.
outside.
We had to go outside. We
be a
had to go
social.
outside to-
Put us in
to
some
ent-
programs,
to
stuff like
entertain
that.
ourselves.
Baby.
You know, my mom and dad didn't want me on the game hours of the day, definitely during the summer. Like, dang, I got all this time. Why y'all want me
But
to do
now
something?
parents are so tired or they
Yes.
got to work, so it's like
Yeah,
technology,
yes,
it keeps
yes,
them
and we're gonna get into
occupied.
that.
It
That's the
keeps them
economics of
occupied.
it,
It-
right?
it's
So let me go back to this, right? So the job I do now, we go into elementary schools, middle schools, high school, right? It was this high school I went to in Powder Springs, kind of like, I ain't gonna say upper echelon, but they got a nice school system out there,
Yeah.
right? So I come in.
That's Cobb County.
The first thing I see is a girl student. She has on a crop top, a whole belly ring, tattoos, jewelry, and she got shorts up to her thigh. You can really see like all that.
They let her walk into school like that?
Yes, and I'm like, where's the dress code at? Like for the boys, it's two things. You rather too fresh for school,
Right.
or you just woke up and really just put your Crocs
Too
on
ca-
and just
you're
came
too
to school.
casual.
Yeah,
I noticed that too with these kids. It's it's either one end of the extreme. It's like it's super super casual. You're wearing because I even see
Yeah.
some schools they're banning pajama pants,
Yeah.
hoodies, the Crocs. Like you can't wear that, or it's like super super bougie. Like you got to have the designer, the 30-inch bust down, the girls
Yeah.
in the crop tops and the
Yeah.
shorts, and it's just like I remember there was girls that tested the limits, but it's like,
Yeah.
baby, you got
Oh
to
no,
home.
spaghetti straps like.
You got sent home. Either they gave you a
Baby.
shirt, they gave you a big old shirt,
Yeah,
or you
yeah.
got
That
sent
say
home.
dress code, yeah. But it also, like I said, it goes back to the same thing where you grew up at.
Yeah,
The environment
starts with
that
the
you
home.
in.
Yeah.
It starts at home. Like
Yeah,
it
it do.
starts at home. Like
It
you
do.
were in Cobb County.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that you seen that in Cobb County, but Cobb, Gwinnett,
I went to school in Gwinnett. It's a little
Douglas.
different. It's a little
Yeah, I was
different.
finna
It's
say
different.
these are good school systems.
Yes, yes. That's
Good
my thing.
school
That's why it
systems.
baffled me like that.
Yeah, it's
Like,
they're
y'all
good
letting them
school
dress like this?
systems.
Yeah, when
But
it's just
again,
like that, yeah, they get away
when
with
you
it more.
get
Yeah.
when you don't have any boundaries or any structure, especially if you grew up versus a single parent household and a 2-parent household, just in a household period that didn't have structure to begin with, of course you're gonna test the limits. Of course you're gonna wild out.
Yeah,
Like, it's
yeah.
scary.
And to your point, as far as like the kids, like the school system are different. So I remember I was at a YMCA in Latonia, right? And they had like pre-K schools or whatever. They had like 2 or 3 kids that was autistic, nonverbal. But guess what? No assistants though. Guess who was the assistants? I was. I'm not trained to deal with an autistic kid.
Right.
Why y'all got me in here instead of a trained professional who know how to deal with them?
Right.
See, that goes to ain't trying to shoot at the cab, y'all, but the cab can do a little better.
Oh yeah. No,
And
it's
this goes to the question of like the breakdown I sent you. Like, are teachers collateral damage between parenting and even just their own support in their own field,
right.
and just how kids are?
They are.
Yes, they are.
They are.
A lot of them. I can't tell you how many different preschool schools or whatever I went to, and the teacher would come up to me and be like, "Man, I need to change careers.
Yeah.
That's not what I signed
so
up
many
for.
teachers that have
I
quit.
signed up to teach
Yeah.
kids,
Not
not be
babysit. Or
not
be a second
babysit,
parent.
yes, not none of that." And I feel like teachers these days are like teaching with a blindfold and their hands behind their back because they can't do nothing. They can't even give constructive criticism because of how their parents are. They're scared to do that because you know your child bad,
Yeah.
or you know your child is behavior challenged.
Yeah.
We gonna say
having
bad.
some
I
challenge.
don't like saying bad kids.
Right.
So we're gonna say behavior challenge. Why are you taking up for this instead of adjusting? We got them more than y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all go home with them, but we got the meat of the hours.
Right.
But Tevin, let's be realistic, right?
Talk to
How
me.
many parent teacher meetings have you sat in on or seen where what's the first thing if a teacher tell you about your child, what's the first thing you do? You get defensive.
Right.
It's our child. You're not finna tell me more about my child than I already know.
Right.
But we also have to remember though.
But see, that reaction is that helping, or is it going to help improve the child? Because it's hurting now.
Right.
We're hurt.
And
Yeah.
then also
It's
you have
tough to deal with this little Jaden or little Lisa or whatever.
And you have to remember,
She's
teachers
difficult.
are with your kids 8 to 9 hours out the day, and most of the time your kid acts completely different than what they do at home. We all
Yeah.
did. We all act different at school
Yeah.
than what we did at home.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like what the teacher is saying. It may not be false, but it may be something different from what you're seeing at home. But at
Correct.
school, they really may be acting a fool
Right.
because it's school and
Correct.
they're trying to be around their peers and socialize and that type of thing. But it's
Right.
just like getting defensive. It doesn't help the problem.
Correct.
And then people get so mad at teachers who may have actual training in child development and psychology, and then you got parents telling them, "Well, you don't know what you talk about. This is my
Right.
child." And, it's
And,
like,
and,
bro.
and I'm gonna be honest, not to cut you off, I'm gonna be honest. And LA, this not to generalize nobody, but it's usually the mother that's defensive.
Correct.
I feel like most fathers, I'm gonna say most women, right? Most fathers are more receptive to the criticism of their own child compared to mothers. Respectfully so, though. I understand that you birthed the child, so yeah, you want to be more defensive.
Yeah, I get
but I feel like that shouldn't cloud your judgment or just receiving criticism of a professional who sees this kid 5 days a week, 8 hours out the day.
I don't even think it's.
It ain't about getting defensive because you think your kid is good.
Yeah.
You're getting defensive because you're saying I'm a bad parent.
Right, that's exactly what it is. That's
Thank you.
exactly what it is.
Mic drop.
That's
Mic drop.
exactly
Ain't no
what it
mic
is.
drop.
Mic
No,
drop.
but that's exactly what it is.
Mic
People
drop.
feel-
I agree, but ain't no mic drop
no,
though.
people feel attacked.
That's the problem.
Parents will feel attacked as a parent, but it's just
Right.
like, just listen, because sometimes the teacher's not even being disrespectful. I'm just
Yes.
telling you what your child did today in class.
Yes.
I'm not coming for you. I'm telling
Yes.
you what little Johnny did in class today.
And my thing,
and you getting mad at
But
me.
ain't no-
and guess what? We don't even mention nothing about parenting.
Right, we
How
just
is
saying
he at
this
home?
is
We don't care about that.
No, we just said little
We don't
Johnny.
see him at
Little
home.
Johnny
Hold
did
up.
this today.
Let me cut you in right there though.
What's up?
When we were growing up, that was a question that was asked.
That
How
is
many
true.
parent teacher meetings?
What's up? 5 minutes? Dang, we been spared. We gotta do a
How
part
many
2. y'all.
how many parent teacher meetings nowadays where they ask, well, how is the child at home?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't ask that question because you already know that the parent is finna either get defensive or want to
Yeah.
disenroll their child out of school,
Yeah.
or you next thing you know, y'all in here fighting.
Yeah.
For what?
Right.
It's
When
not
it's- when
about it's not about the teacher,
That's true.
it's not about the parent, it's about that child.
Right.
And it's supposed to be a collaboration.
It is.
Parent-teacher
It
conference.
takes a village.
But see
Exactly.
that. But the
parents, but the parent, it's weird though because for me, because I don't have a child,
Right.
but there's so many people that be like, oh, the village, we need community. And then when the community tries to commune,
Exactly. The parent cut that off.
the parent cuts it off. It gets mad.
Yes.
Oh, don't tell me about my child, or don't say nothing
Yes.
to my child. But then it's just like, but then you want a community if you want somebody to look after your child.
Yes.
So where is the balance there? Because
Exactly.
the village do be wanting to help, but the parents be so mad, and it's just like, all right, I'll step back.
I'm gonna let you right. And guess what? Now you driving teachers away. Prime example. This is I'm gonna say last year or 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna say 2 years ago. DeKalb County had a whole program of say, hey, I want you to become a teacher. You remember that?
I remember that.
That's how bad it is over there. And mind you, the meat of like the schools I was in as a sub was in DeKalb County. It is tough over there.
It's very
On the
much so.
educational wise, the kind of environment plays a factor, the kind of kids, stuff like that. And then to be honest, like it's a lot of single moms over there.
Yeah.
And you trying to survive in that environment, one,
Right.
and then trying to make ends meet, two.
Right.
You're away from your kid
Probably
16
12
hours out the day.
Yep. Working 2 jobs.
So when you come get your kid and we tell your kid like, yeah, your kid was a little rough today.
Yeah.
And it's been rough for like a whole time. And I'm gonna get real personal with it, but we're gonna say that for part 2, y'all. We're gonna say that for part 2. I'm share like a real personal story that was really uncomfortable for me, that it involved I think she was 6 or 7 at the time. But she really made my job uncomfortable. And I'm gonna elaborate that on the next episode. So do anybody have, I ain't gonna say final thoughts because we ain't through with this topic. Do anybody have any thoughts before we drop the mic?
Well, just real quick to the question that you asked me earlier, when it comes to stepping on parents' toes, for me, I try to just ask like, hey, let me know the boundaries before, if you want me to watch your kid, like, or just whatever. No, I'm being for real, because some
Do
people
they
don't-
like nuggets?
like give me a disclaimer, like, so I'm not
they eat?
stepping on your toes. I do ask like, hey, is there anything I need to know about your child? Like,
Gotcha.
what do I need to do? That type of thing. So I'm not stepping on your toes. What are you comfortable with? Are you comfortable, with them coming to me? If they don't want to come to you, would you want me to tell you, or would you want to be confidential? Like, No,
I respect that,
respect
because I don't think a lot of
Exactly.
people
I
do that.
respect that.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of
respect
people do
that.
that, man.
No.
So Meg,
I
what about
ask.
you? I like that, man.
Parents, check on y'all child mental health.
Absolutely.
That part.
Check on them, because they're not all right.
Yeah.
They could tell you they had a good day, but in reality, they're not all right.
Right.
They're facing demons that we don't see.
Right.
We're gonna end on that.
Yeah.
I was gonna say almost the same as that thing. We're gonna end on that. Y'all be blessed. Get your mind right. This is part of my sanity.